2, go.
Hi. Welcome to Critical ReRoll. We're super professional here. It's the podcast about Critical Role for the critters, by the critters, critter, etc., etc. I'm Jess. There's 2 awesome people here with me today. Please say hi, Cate.
Hi.
Where can they find you on the internet, Cate?
You can find me at CMonster on Twitter.
Excellent.
That's CEE Monster.
And I'm Matt. You've heard me before. I make things. I made this shirt.
And if you come to watch the Twitch broadcast, then he made all the pretty color fancy stuff. Our retro redesigned Critical ReRoll stuff. Looks good. Yay.
There's more on the way eventually.
Whee! More stuff. Anywho. So, jumping right in, because we're not fancy and we don't got sponsors. We got a name at the beginning or nothing. Talking about Campaign 2, Episode 10. Starting back up at the top. They're still at the Leaky Tap. And the first exciting thing we start doing is we start talking about the Traveler, which is... Sorry?
Nothing?
We get Jester talking about him and swooning over him, and she's like, oh gosh, I hope he's not listening right now, because like she's literally like saying how he's
so cute.
He's probably so handsome, and but more specifically, what's interesting there is she talks a little bit about he's like small, no one else seems to know him, but maybe he's famous where he comes from, but here he's not super well known yet. But the rest of the group points out like, well, they're interested in meeting, like, if this is really a god who kicks it with the regular folk, they'd be super interested in hanging with him. So Jester puts it out there. She's like, you heard that, Traveler? If you want, you could come hang out with us sometime. So totally opening up the floor. I
like the pause, and then Travis is like, perception check.
Yes.
Because like in my mind, I have the picture of him like turning around and like a green hood is just like like ducks behind someone else. Sorry, what was the question?
That would have been great if someone else like not had like sneaked away for a second and then like put her hood up and just been like,
perfect.
As a god that hangs out with regular folk, I wonder if the local authorities would like to meet him for a reason.
Yeah.
So yeah, no, it's just more that. Do you think we might actually? Do you think this is? We'll actually get to meet this being? Do you think this is a god? Because mostly in this world, the gods are supposed to be locked to the other side of a gate. Or is this maybe some just like high-powered person? Or like, like semi like high magical type being? Or is it just Jester's imaginary friend? A lot of people are still pushing that idea. What do you guys think?
She did refer to him as a new god. She said he's kind of new, as well as not well known. So that makes me wonder. I'm not all about it being someone who kind of took the Raven Queen path, who was immortal, to become this new god, which I know some people have thrown out. I think we all kind of know what I feel and who it is. But
I think it's the same that we all feel.
I think it's the same that everyone does.
It just makes the most sense if he's already an archfey.
Mm-hmm.
And so
in the book and everything, yeah,
and the doodles, all of that, it screams Artigan.
Yeah.
And like we know, he's a shapeshifter, so that's probably why he can keep tabs. Like I feel like if it is Artigan, Jester is his only like worshiper,
right?
Because I don't think he's omnipotent in any way.
No.
Mm-hmm.
So I think he's subtly or like just straight up using her to get followers.
I think he might have found a kindred type soul with her, like, ooh, this person amuses me. So he might have latched onto her.
Mm-hmm.
Interesting. I don't know. I want it to be
No.
Artigan.
I think everybody.
I do really like the imaginary friend theory though,
Yeah, I do like that theory too.
because it's the whole dramatic irony of like we and they get to see Jester interacting. Oh, we lost Jess for a second.
Yes.
We get to see Jester interacting with the Traveler,
Hey, Jess is back.
and then everyone else like also gets to see Jester with the Traveler. But then now when
Right.
she calls to him, he's not there, so it's like Boy Who Cried Wolf type of situation.
Mhm.
Jester Fight Club.
Yeah, I don't know. It's just fun.
It's a nice contrast, the whole conversation with what she said about the Traveler versus what Yasha was saying about the Stormlord, I think, too.
hmm And I like that Jester was giving Yasha advice that Jester was like, well, maybe you need to just go to a very quiet place because the first... Oh, and that was something interesting and sad, too. When she was talking about how, like, she's like, I was in a very quiet place when I first met the Traveler. Do you think it was literally, like, you know, the story of her, like, sort of growing up? Like, she was sort of, like,
And like a room by
had to
yourself.
hide.
In a closet underneath the stairs.
Yeah. As, like, this secret forbidden child type situation.
Yeah.
Like sort of all on her own, and like she has said before she had no friends before the Traveler. Like she's
Right.
said stuff like that before, and it's so sad. And like poor Jester. Yeah. In that way, I like the imaginary friend too. But then like where are her powers coming from? Because she has powers, so like someone is gifting her powers somehow.
Maybe it'll like be she's some sort of like warlock variant type thing.
Yeah.
And like we don't know who her father was yet, so maybe her
That's true.
father was someone like
Yeah.
because she is a tiefling. So what if he was like a high-powered demon of some sort or something
True.
along those?
'Cause, yeah,
lines?
we don't know what her mom was.
Because her mom, like a lot of people said that
Yeah.
a lot of people are drawing her as tieflings, and I love the idea of her being a tiefling. However, she could be human. She could totally just be human, and Jester is a
And
tiefling,
had a demon baby. It happens. It happens.
It does.
which would add to the reasons why she would need to be hidden, right? Like, human person has this demony baby, like, it's
Not good for business.
No, it's not good for business.
Interesting. So let's see who is Jay Hoover, AWP17. Have you covered that the first guest's god was also the Stormlord?
Wait, what?
Was Shakasta's deity the Stormlord?
I
I'm
guess they
interested
could do
now.
that,
I
but
don't remember what the Stormlord symbol is.
I
I'll look in
don't
the book.
remember that being revealed, so I didn't realize.
Yeah.
Is that confirmed? Because if that's confirmed, that's pretty...
It
Interesting.
doesn't.
It
there's
could
no-
just be a coincidence, but it could be something relating to...
It would make
that
sense if he's a
girl.
Tempest
Right.
cleric.
Yeah, it would
Hmm.
make sense for a Tempest Cleric.
Okay, so he wrote like an H, right, when he left
Uh,
Shakasta. So there is the Stormlords. That one. I don't really
the lightning bolts?
Yeah,
So yeah, that seems a little bit different.
and his tenets are kind of different than what I would see Shakasta
Hmm.
following. Interesting. I like that though. I think it's a powerful fave, but iffy about it being Artagon just because it's a new campaign and new characters. As far as that one goes, I know me personally, this is something I said in a past episode of like, if there is a tie-in to the old characters, like I would hope it's just like one, and if it's this one,
Right.
it's perfect.
Yeah.
And Matt did say in the after the whole wrap up that, you know, they never really touched on what happened. Did they build the door? Didn't they build the door? And he said, yeah, they did, and that's going to have some ramifications.
Mm-hmm.
Mhm.
Exactly. So, and like that's the perfect level of like we're all talking about how it seems unlikely there would be a new god and there wouldn't be some sort of world consequences that we wouldn't have noticed. But someone like an archfey coming across the doorway, someone with a lot of power, but not like necessarily breaking the god barriers. It seems
Exactly.
it
Yeah.
seems rather well fitted. Like it
'Cause
seems,
Those gosh darn fae.
yeah. Yep.
You know, it's seeming more like a Fey patron than like a full-fledged deity type thing.
But that'd be very cool if like Matt is allowing sort of these cleric powers to come from this sort of alternative source. I think that's really, really, really cool. And I like the fact that like I feel like it also fits because Jester has had to be reminded on several occasions that she's the cleric. It's not like she's a regular raised and trained cleric. It's not like she literally on several occasions where she's been like, oh, I have to do the healing now because apparently I'm the cleric. Like, it's not like it's something that, you know what I mean? Like a lot of clerics would have trained at like, I don't know, a church type situation, a temple of some sort. Yeah.
Well, I mean, that could be a thing. So maybe she like helped if there are any wounds or like if any hurt people came into the brothel, maybe she healed them, and so she got in it that way. She didn't
have a healer's kit, so she was.
But she was proficient. She didn't think she knew one because she'd never been with people who were dying all the time.
Yeah.
So when will we start to learn the characters' real names instead of all these aliases?
That's what I'm wondering.
Yeah.
Yes.
Ford, that's not his name. That's not his
Oh,
name?
hell no.
Absolutely
Molly Mock.
Hell no.
Didn't he claim the last name Tea Leaf? That's probably not it. Jester has only said Jester until last episode. We got the name Lavore.
Yes, we got that alternative name.
Who else? Bo. I think Bo's telling the truth.
Yeah, because I think Bo has nothing. Like, Bo has been... Like, her backstory keeps being revealed, and she's like, yeah,
whatever. Like, yeah, you got me again.
Yeah, you got me. Like, she's not the most charismatic, and, like, it's just like, yeah, that's it, whatever. Yasha has just avoided... I mean, I assume Yasha is Yasha's real name, but, like, we don't know anything else about her because, like, she just is good at avoiding stuff. She's like, yeah, I don't really like talking about it. That's it. Ends conversation. Done. Yep. Like,
the question on Talks about her name was pretty cool, saying that Yasha was a Japanese demon or something, and was that on purpose that she picked that name? And Ash's face was pretty awesome when that question came up.
Really? I missed that part. Drat.
Back to the episode, though, I think my favorite part of that whole interaction was at the end when they're like, maybe Molly could do a seance. And then he makes a snide remark, like, I don't usually speak to the dead on the first date. Like, is he completely anti-deities?
Yeah.
He's just calling them all dead.
Yeah. I can see that. I think Molly is another one who... Molly seems to be one of our, like, generally happier characters, generally good. Like, you see a big difference in how Taliesin is playing him as opposed to how he played Percy. Do you know what I mean? He was always like, Percy is an asshole. He's the first one to always say that. He's like, Percy is a dick. And, like, he's playing Molly like a nice guy, like, has his opinions, but is overall a nice guy. Because, just skipping ahead a little bit, later on, when they're in the sewer, the only two people who are like, hey, maybe we shouldn't just burn all the webbing in case there's some people alive. The only two people who spoke up about that were Molly and Knot. Everyone else was like, nah, shit, let's burn it. Everyone was like, it doesn't matter if there's anyone in there. We're doing them a favor. Like, we're doing them a kindness. Or like,
yeah, like, and during that, Ford was even like, just a reminder, we were told to fight this thing, not bring back survivors.
Right.
Yeah. So, like, literally, I think Molly isn't necessarily, like, one for regular, like, following normal social rules. I don't think he's necessarily one for, normal deity, good guy, bad guy type rules, but he definitely seems to have his own code, and he's mostly a really nice guy. Like, definitely for the people, save the people, all that sort of jazz.
I don't know. I think that's... I feel like it's an act with Molly.
You think so?
Because, like, publicly he'll be like that, but then he does all this side stuff, like pinning Caleb later and...
Yeah.
I just think he likes games.
To, like, steal from people.
I think he likes games.
Yeah.
That could be it. Yeah, he's just chaotic.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And he's not bad. He's just like, it's entertaining. Let's do it. Let's see this. But yeah, he does come off as a good guy. Like, I think underneath all of the sarcasm, all of the playing around, he's a good guy. But
he's gonna make the hurt all the worse. He's the gentleman.
Someone in chat in fact say, "Oh shit, don't say that."
Everyone's a gentleman. Last campaign, everyone was a dragon. This campaign, everyone's a gentleman.
Someone in chat did say, I think the nicest is a cover for his chaotic evil, but I don't see it. Like, I could see, there's several other characters who I could see being, I would sooner guess that Ford is either secretly evil or his patron is going to require him to be evil at some point. Sooner than I would guess Molly is already chaotic evil, personally. But that's just me. Like, that's just where I see it sort of going.
I don't think Taliesin would pick, hey, let's pick the demon character and actually make him a demon.
And
Yeah.
play into that trope.
Yeah.
I get that now.
Yeah.
I do like the whole theory, and they said it in chat. You know, I think if Molly's an amnesiac, whoever he was before
Yes.
losing his memory was super evil.
Yes. And I do love that theory. That's one that I've brought up on Critical Reroll before, that I love the idea that Molly is at least somewhat an amnesiac, because we have that whole, when he joined the circus, he wasn't even speaking.
Right.
We have elements.
Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. And we have all sorts of elements that anytime he's mentioned his past, it's been some level of lying. But maybe it's not because he's, trying to just feed them lies. Maybe it's because he doesn't know and he's just making shit up because, like, what else does he have to go on?
Right.
Like, you know what I mean? Like, I really love that theory. That's one of my favorite ones. And also,
Okay.
I was just going to say, I really like the idea. I also said this for about him and about one other person, that I like the idea that some people might have left certain things up to Matt to decide.
Yeah.
Like, I'm leaving this entire chunk of my character's fate up to you to reveal as you so choose when the story suits. Like, I could just see Matt building a whole thing and, like, stuff gets revealed and the character doesn't even know. You know, someone that comes up to them and like, oh, Bob, it's you! I haven't seen you in years!
So,
Yeah.
something like that. So if he is an amnesiac and he doesn't have all these memories, because he did the whole, like, I don't remember anything from before the circus, but he's only been with the circus for 2 years, they're going to start finding things that maybe old Molly did.
Mm-hmm.
Or, like, the rest of the order of blood hunters, because I'm assuming there is an order of them, and they're, like, a not good scene.
Yeah, it's a cult. He ran away from a cult.
Yep.
Okay.
He's their Jason Bourne.
He's their Jason Bourne.
Yeah, they trained him and then took away his memories, so he would be, like, a complacent, just murderer.
And then he ended up in a circus.
And then he ran away, yeah. He started
but
to
he
get his
also has
memories.
those crazy tattoos, so he could be that character in Blind Spot.
Exactly.
That's why he did it. That's exactly why he did it.
Just to make Ashley mad.
Just
Just to fuck with Ashley. Because I could totally see all of those people doing things just to fuck with the other players. So now that we've, like, gone all through that section, for this episode, I really like when we do this sort of thing, when we just talk on theories and let it build and stuff like that. So I'm going to jump ahead a little bit. It'll still be in chronological order, but if any time anyone in chat or either of you two has anything I miss and you want to talk on, just jump on it. Just let me know.
Oh.
So the next part I got to, so obviously they went to check out the sewer and they debated, do we want to go now? Do we want to go later? And so
first
finally,
there was a cloak hunt. Because that's
Okay.
important. There's a cloak hunt.
And why is that important?
Because Vax.
And not
'Cause
got
everyone's
earmuffs.
And not got little earmuffs.
Yeah.
And she rolls her ears to put them
Oh.
under the ear. So she got little Leia buns underneath the earmuffs.
Oh.
Those are important things, and I was gonna skip them, so I'm glad you called them out. Yeah, starting the cloak collection now, so we can wheel the trolley of
Cloak
cloaks.
count 1.
That's definitely something for crit roll stats to start tracking the cloak count.
Cloaks.
So they go into the sewer, and
It jokes, which I did not appreciate.
the what?
Yeah, the shit
The it
jokes.
jokes.
Oh
It
yeah, that
jokes.
part. I
Yeah.
literally tried to ignore that part.
No.
Because
I
I'm
don't
like,
like
I
that.
do want to hear about that part. We got some really good rolls. Not rolled so well that she was able to taste blood in the water. And she's
Yes.
like, bloody stool. I know this.
Yeah.
So gross.
But then a moment later, Jester rolls really, really well. And I thought it was interesting that she was looking specifically for webbing. She was like, do I see webbing? And I think she got a 21. And Matt was like, yeah, okay, well then you see a little bit because they had just entered, so they weren't really at the spider point yet. But even already, she was looking for it. And Matt was like, well, that roll, you see a little bit hanging from the torch on like the side of the wall or something like that.
It's a webbing.
It's a webbing.
It is. She was all dramatic. Like, everybody, look. It's a webbing.
Everyone wants to talk on this. You know what? We'll talk about that later. We will come back to the cloak because we come back to it when there is a clothing trade a little bit later. But down in the sewer, what I wanted to ask about was They immediately saw the, what is it, ROEs? The rats of...
RUSs.
ROUSs, rats of unusual size.
Rats of unusual size.
I guess it'd be stench for this case. Rats of unusual stench.
But yeah, so they weren't normal rats. I think a lot of people were like cranium
rats.
Oh, they were weird, fungal, poisonous gas rats. Like,
my favorite thing though is that like if there's they're doing some of these key D&D tropes. They're in a sewer fighting rats. Like that's
right.
That's like base D&D. I love it.
Uncle trash rats.
Uncle Luke said rats of unusual flatulence.
Gross.
Roofs. But yeah, I'm not familiar with that creature. I'm not familiar with rats of unusual flatulence. So I assume Matt custom creature, but why? Why do you think, like, is this something else? Is this just Matt was like, I want to make balloon rats? Or was this a, there's some weird stuff happening here? Because one of the first things we had in the first campaign was, all those creatures being messed with and pieced back and forth together. And here we have a new and unusual creature, these balloon rats. What are they from? Where are they?
My only two thoughts were, one, he wanted to make a rat fight interesting, so if they hit it with the wrong damage type, it explodes and they take other things. Other one is that these rats are in the sewer of the city where we know the gentleman operates, and he has that blood root, so maybe they like test all the poisons on the rats. Or maybe the excess drains into the sewers, and so they get all covered in it.
Very possible.
Or maybe they grow the shit down there.
Maybe.
Also possible. Because we do have the dude they found was like...
So you had the dude that was a runner. You also had the different, splits. Like, you could have gone left, you could have gone right, you could have gone up, you could have gone down.
Sewer mushrooms, yum.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I do like all those things you just said, that it could just be contaminants coming down and poisoning the rats. It could be them testing on the rats. It could be, like you said, the runners dropping shit and the rats...
Because they did make a point to see if they were undead or not, which came up as negative.
Yeah. So these are regular rats, but something has happened to them. Something is happening in this city. What? That wasn't the right sound effect, but I don't got sound effects. So that's just what happened. Wait, sorry.
Dramatic hamster.
There you go. Thank you, Matt. All
right, leave. Goodbye. No.
All
Fair
time
enough.
we have. Okay. I don't know. Like, I do think it kind of sucked from a DM's perspective that he kind of gave away that it was a damage type that caused it to explode, because they figured it out way too quick. Yeah. But then we have the awesome scene of them just like punching the crap out of rats for the next 10 minutes.
Yeah. Yep. So Rowan said, I was actually wondering about this phase spider, because that's another... I wasn't even thinking of that. What was a phase spider doing in the sewer? That's totally legit. Like, somehow broke out of Zadesh local branch of the Solstice Academy? Question mark. And actually...
Only one question mark. You did too.
I know, but I'm adding the... Those are my extra question marks. I'm sorry. It wasn't a direct quote. It was a paraphrase. I apologize.
Oh, there's also a good follow-up, because if the Gentleman Myriad use the sewers and they transport exotic items and creatures, that's going to have an effect on the environment. So maybe during...
Yeah, because you saw all those little eggs got out. Who knows what, someone was transporting before.
Okay, hold on. I want to dive into this real quick. So the thing got attacked by the guy, so they fight the spider, they made a halfling guy. The halfling guy made the remark when... I know I'm skipping so far ahead.
No, go for it.
But so Jester dug through his pants because he said he had something.
Mm-hmm.
And then later on, he's like, when Bo's like, do you feel safe, or do you feel like we've done a service? And he's like, I would have paid you, but your friend there already took all the money. And Jester's like, I didn't take anything from him. And Matt does the whole, like, that's not what he's talking about. So maybe he was transferring the spider, or maybe he was talking to Caleb, who was rummaging through everybody.
Ooh.
I don't know. I skipped super far ahead with that one.
No,
but now,
but that's...
like the whole thing of like they transport items through the sewer. So what were they?
No, this is really good. And actually, when I tweeted out yelling at everyone to, like, because at any time y'all want to shout conspiracy theories at me, just flip and do it. I'm at go_JG on Twitter. Just shout at me. I want to hear So the one person who had a question / wanted to talk theories was I think Arkenphage at Arkenphage, and he said, why was there a pregnant manticore? Why was there a pregnant manticore in that tiny town? It's another exotic creature. Now that we're talking about all these weird exotic creatures.
Oh shit.
And why were there magical manacles for it? Almost as if someone was regularly transporting exotic creatures. Yep. So, heck yeah, this is all...
It goes all the way to the top!
It's going around stuff, guys! This is stuff.
Oh, and they did see a caravan that was carrying shit. Yep. They couldn't see what was in it. Oh, man.
Mommy Fortuna!
I don't know.
I know.
I gotta get my red string.
We're really, really stretching out these conspiracy theories here, but I
like it.
I like these ideas that this could be one of the little side things happening. All these different weird and exotic creatures. What's happening? And who is this connecting back to? Is this like in the very first sort of story arc when they were dealing with Clowry, who is a weird creature who suddenly went evil? And we were all like, oh, maybe it has something to do with the was it Knight's Guard?
The water supply, the lake, and Dressenwald.
Yes! Right? There's
Matthew Mercer, what have you done?
Right? Mercer, what are you? Damn it, Newt, quit smuggling magical creatures. Oh, it's just Newt Scamander, guys. Forget it.
I have an NPC I created who'll be very, very interested in all this. Because she collects magical creatures and brings them to the Claws and Paws rescue.
Oh, but that's a sweet ending. I'm really imagining much more evil here.
There's a beholder that only has one eye stalk left, and then he puts googly eyes all over as his therapy eyes.
Oh my god.
That's freaking...
His name's Chuck.
Oh my god.
Anyway.
I love that. But yeah, definitely. Someone's pointing out, Axeloba could say it could have a theory, it could have something to do with gentlemen. The Myriad, all that sort of stuff, all these different organizations.
The Cerberus assemblies, using them to keep the populace in line.
Yeah, so there's a lot of, we still have a lot to explore in this world, so there's still a lot of things it could be.
As far as the fight with the phase spider, was there anything y'all wanted to talk about there? Like feats that certain supposed half-orcs might have.
Yeah. So basically, we got to see that Travis was indeed built Ford tough. I don't feel bad about saying that. Too bad, deal with it. So he's in fact a half-orc. He does have relentless endurance, and I felt so freaking called out by Liam, who said, there you go, Freemasons, he's actually a half-orc. Listen, Liam, we weren't questioning that one half of him is half-orc. That's fine. What's the other half? Okay, there's something else there.
Whoa! Around the background people that are cheering you on. Get him! Get him! Drag him!
I'm sorry. It's just sure he can be like. There's plenty of things that can happen. He's a half orc. He has no tusks. Maybe I love the drawing. I don't know if you guys saw that Nicholas did of him having braces as a little baby half orc.
Oh.
So instead of some people are like, oh, maybe his tusks were filed down. Maybe he had half orc braces and they're just gone now, and that's why he's so handsome. The coloring is sometimes I thought that coloring was unusual, but a lot of people have pointed out to me that can be half orc coloring. Fine, I'm cool with that. Reptile eyes could be his patron. That's fine. But there's still something else there. That's not his voice. We've heard him do a different voice before. He's that's been brought up several occasions that him pretending to be other people, that's his thing.
Yep.
There's stuff there. We don't know that's fine. He's half orc. But what's the other half? I'm not dropping this. You can't convince me otherwise. Go ahead.
I do. Things in the fight. I do like our newest addition, the new Bigby's hand for this season. Schmidt, the unseen servant.
It's gonna be fun to see what shenanigans she makes.
It's like, yeah, okay, I'm just gonna place this invisible person in front of me all the time.
Yes. He's gonna always be walking around poking things. Like, can't really like do too much, but he can poke him. I love that he was like,
But he was using him as a shield. He's like, I'm gonna sit in the box and put him in front of me.
That's excellent. And I love that he's like, he called on him and he's like, can I see him? And Matt's like, no. He's unseen.
He appears. No, he doesn't.
He's unseen.
Like, that's the name of the spell.
So many Nat 1 perception checks.
There are a lot of them.
Yes. In my chat, when we were watching it, several people were like, no one has looked up yet. No one has looked up. Everyone's like, I check behind. I check in front. And everyone was like...
And they're already on, like, it's a spider, because they find the body, and it's got puncture marks, and like, it's got pincers, and like, okay, look left, look right, look under things.
Look for the spiders.
Look where spiders live.
Maybe look up.
I like Jester trying to eat the worst cotton candy when her axe was covered in the spider webs, and everyone's like, Jester, no!
No! Put it down.
Which again, how old is Jester? They found a couple Crown's Guard stuff down there.
Yeah.
So
Yep.
But
speaking on Laura, unfortunately, I had to disagree with her for possibly the first time in ever. And I feel bad, but I'm sorry, Laura, I disagree with you. Because she said, and I quote, healing word is dog shit. And I'm sorry, Laura, but I love healing word. It's one of the few like bonus actions you can do, and you can call out at your friends from across the map and be like, hey, yo, feel better, and they do. That's magical. Okay, that is amazing.
I like Uncle Luke.
Right.
Given that no one noticed there were 2 moons last campaign, looking up's not their strong suit.
Very true. Although I will say in defense of the healing word versus cure wounds, when you only have like 3 spell slots or whatever,
you want to get the bang for your buck.
Maximize the potential of what you're doing. So I understand.
I know. I was just so hurt. My heart was broken. It's like...
And it's like, this situation is what Invoke Duplicity is for.
Right.
Because you can cast it through it, but you don't have to be near it. Yeah, Sam was right next to her. He's like, no, it's not.
Yeah, I know. That's what I mean. When you're a bard, or like me, you're a druid, that, like, healing word is your bread and butter. Like, it's like, it's so good. It's like, nom, 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 that healing word. Give it to me, thank you.
Points of well-being.
Yeah, we got to see Yasha do healing hands for the first time ever.
Yes.
Who wants to talk about that?
What was the next thing?
The healing
hands.
Which is actually the name of the massage place I go to. So.
Oh shit!
Then this is your area of expertise.
But so on that, everyone was kind of like, "Oh, Travis, why couldn't you do that?" You know, "Oh, what is this barbarian thing?" It's like, "Oh, it's Path of the Zealot." No, it's not. Is it? It's an Asmar thing, right? We said, yeah.
Correct.
Yeah, it's an Asmar thing, but it doesn't. What's interesting is it doesn't tell us exactly which path she's gone down yet, because it's just a general Asmar trait. So it's actually on page 105 on Volos, if you guys are looking for it. And unfortunately, like I said, it's just a basic Asmar trait. So it doesn't. We still don't know whether she's Protector, Scourge, or Fallen. Obviously, everyone has ideas. We do know now that she's a Zealot Barbarian because she said so on Tox Machina. But yeah, it was. I remember thinking the same thing too. I was like, "Oh, is that a barbarian trait?" But no, it's an Asmar one, and it's not even very strong. She can only do as much as her level. So she put her hand on her chest, and she would have only healed herself for 3 points.
Hey, that's 3 poinds.
I know. Yeah.
You were like in defense of healing word, which is only 1 before.
But that's what I mean when Laura's all like, it's fine, I get it. Like, you want to do the most for what you can do. Healing word is not dog shit, Laura. It's not dog shit, okay?
I'm going to tell her you said this.
Half of my notes for this whole section is just ooh spiders over and over again.
We had that really, really cool Blood Maledict from Molly.
Yes.
And I know nothing about
Blood Hunters.
Blood hunters. Thank you. So I was legit like, is that a specific thing? Like, what did he just do? Because he'd like describe, but he was just describing it amazingly. He was all like, a vessel on my neck bursts and like blood goes everywhere, and then I like stop shit from happening. And I thought he was doing some like Stranger Things 11 shit where like blood
and I was looking at it again, and like you have to do that because with the regular blood curse of the eyeless only affects it when you're getting attacked.
Oh.
So when you amplify it, take damage equal to your crimson right die or your crimson right dice, then you can target when someone else is attacked. So that was like the only way you could do that. But I like how it was a split-second decision. Like as soon as it looked towards Yash, he was like, no.
It goes back to him, being that nice guy underneath it all, but also that bond he has with her because of being in the circus.
Mm-hmm.
Yes, and we definitely saw that bond a few times in this episode, and I really appreciated it.
I'm so happy she was back for this.
I know. I'm so glad that, like, and actually on Talks Machina, I think Brian talked about it, how she got back around the time she reappeared, like, in the second half of the episode, last episode, and she was really tired because she just traveled, and she was like, I don't know if you want to go, and Brian was like, you know you want to be there, and she went, and, like, we had our Ashley, and we're so lucky that we had her for 1.5 episodes. I'm just happy. Yes. Every little bit we get her for is so good, and getting to see that connection between her and Molly, it's so good, and getting that little bit more about Yasha has been so wonderful. And I want to see more about her and her Stormlord, actually, because when she talks about him, she really, like, her tone changes, I find, like, and she definitely, like, talks like he means something to her, you know what I mean? Even though she specifically has said, early in this episode when they're talking about the Traveler, how she's not met him in the flesh in the same equivalency. She said, well, I've certainly...
he doesn't talk back the way that the Traveler does. Because they made a point, like, do you talk to him? Does he talk to you?
Yep.
Right. So now we're to the Halfling Man.
Halfling Man!
Yes.
So Molly ends up killing the spider.
Squishy. Stabby.
Squishy stab.
With a vicious mockery.
Vicious mockery of all things,
yeah. He's like, that's never happened before.
Yeah.
Said something about, I'm going to tear your legs off.
There's just something about my words that really get to it.
That voice is so creepy, and I love it.
When he does his, like, infernal voice, it's so good. It's so good. I love it so much. But yeah, we have, he kills the spider with his words, which is excellent. And then we have everyone going over, well, not everyone, Jester and Bo specifically go over to investigate the halfling while everyone else...
And not.
Loot. Oh, and not. Yes, that's right. That's very important. Thank you. And so basically, Bo uses her background and says that she thinks she knows something about it, and she rolls well, and Matt comes over and gives her a whisper. And from that moment on, she's not revealing exactly what's going on, but she's clearly pushing for something very specific. And I'm going to go ahead and call myself out here. I misunderstood. We had this discussion earlier, and I misunderstood, and I legitimately thought that she had been using her Way of the Cobalt Souls. I thought she was extracting an aspect from him, because I thought she had picked up, like, a very specific piece of information from him, but these two pointed out that I'm dumb. And
no, we didn't say that.
Those were Kate's exact words.
No, they weren't.
But yeah, it was more to do with her own sort of shady background.
Yeah, with her being shady. She's like, we've given my background basically with Zadash and using alleyways and the subway, or not subway, but like the sewers as travel and not be seen. And we start getting more. So originally I thought Talison's character, or Molly having tattoos was all we were going to get of like tattoo imagery. But then you have this halfling with like a lot of snakes intermingled.
Swirl of serpentine like strands and a band of dark mess, which I think it's a myriad tattoo, is what I thought he was getting at.
Yeah, I think I just saw the myriad.
I honestly don't know what the myriad tattoo looks like, so I can't.
I don't know what the tattoo is.
I don't think the tattoo looks, but for me, that's what pinged in my head with the wording he was using specifically.
And how he wasn't saying myriad.
Right, and how he specifically was avoiding myriad.
There was a myriad of snakes around his neck. It's the myriad.
Right.
But sorry, Rowan asked a good question. Do y'all think Bo's criminal background is from her family business days? It doesn't seem like Bo has had a ton of time after leaving the school to get too neck deep in the criminal underbelly. But I can't tell if that's too close to Terry's backstory. Like, it was too close to Terry's sort of whole thing, leaving his family. So do you think that, what did she say her family did? They were like, they owned a winery or something like that.
Yeah,
like,
I don't know. There seems to be some really interesting rules and laws in this place, specifically when it comes to speaking out against the Empire, for worshiping unsanctioned gods, things like that. So criminal background could be as much as, she spoke out against the Empire.
Yeah, I was thinking criminal, not in like she's done something really, really evil. It's more criminal that she snuck out of school and is like a delinquent, just in general.
Right.
Uncle Luke confirmed that they were winemakers.
Cool.
That we know of.
Or that they running away from the Cobalt Reserve, whatever it is,
Yes.
could have been a criminal offense.
And even the way of the Cobalt Soul, the way she was like learning it, those people, they were rather shady. Like,
they beat the crap out of one of their own to teach her how to do this thing.
Yeah. So there's something there too.
Did
I think it's sort of.
She knew about transporting stuff in the sewers. I don't think she spoke specifically about transporting stuff in the sewers. I think she spoke about knowing how to use the sewers to get around quickly.
Yes.
Whether it be sneaking out of school was what my kind of thought was.
Yeah. And we had this guy claiming to be an ale hand again, which connects back to her whole thing of talking about brewery families, talking about the breweries back in the first town they were in, and how she really disliked that one brewery family, and like
the bomb box,
all this jazz. But it was really so like I love that Bo is pushing this, but despite knowing, is that their symbol? Oh, that's interesting. I like that symbol. That's very, very cool. Sorry to anyone that's listening to the audio podcast, but Matt was just showing us the
star with a thing in the center.
I will now describe it in great detail.
It's like a little thing with a bigger thing.
It's like that one weapon from the one show. I forget what it's called.
Good job, Matt. That was an
like it. Perfect.
And that was graphic descriptions with
I visualize it 100%.
It was almost like a big swirly star with a smaller swirly star in it. Like, almost like, but if the star pieces were tentacles. The glaive from Krull. Is that what you were trying to say?
That's the one. Thank you.
Oh!
We appreciate that. But yeah, so I love that like Bo knew this thing but couldn't get it out of the guy, and it took not using her thieves' cant and rolling very well to get him to admit like what was up.
Was such a proud papa right in that moment. With not doing the thieves' cant, he was just like, yes.
But yeah, that was really good. So we got information about the gentleman. Who is this gentleman? And they got the information. Go ahead.
We got more people. Just don't say his name.
Don't say his name.
But there's a place that you can go to if you want to find out more.
Where everybody knows his name.
Yeah. Sometimes you want to go. And we get the evening nip, which has been talked about multiple times and brought up.
It was mentioned in the letter.
In the letter, yeah. And so they're supposed to go there, talk to the patron, and basically say that go order drinks and say something like, "I don't have any coin, but I'd be willing to offer other many gifts."
Yes. With the many gifts being the important part, Matt emphasized.
Mm-hmm.
I loved listening to Marisha take the notes though, because she was the one that was probably going to have to initiate this thing, and she's like, "No drinks or like no coin, many gifts." Like you're gonna do something. don't make us bring Thanks Keyleth back.
And that's right after that was when Molly started looking at the tattoos on the sailor. Yeah.
No, I thought Molly was looking at the halfling.
He was looking at the halfling.
Tattoos.
It was on the halfling? Okay, yeah. Yeah, it was
He
the
makes
halfling.
the comment on, is there anything about these tattoos that irritate
me, yeah.
Yep.
Does that
And it being
mean-
badly done.
Yes.
Yeah. He's like, you know what I mean. And then Travis caught it. He was like, what? He's like,
what are you talking about? What are you talking about?
Yeah. But I love that he, like, you know, he said it in such a way, and then Matt gave him a response where he was like, he's like, you know what I mean. And Matt's like, yeah, I know. Like, they're like having a little like talk. So I definitely think this is gonna come up again. Do you guys think that Molly has a secret
100%.
tattoo language? Secret
100%.
Blind spot.
Yes.
I don't know if it's a secret language, but maybe it's like underground, like you belong. Or maybe he's trying to figure out where he came from because he doesn't have his memories, so he's trying to find people that match his tattoos.
Yeah. Maybe he has a blind spot in his memory and he doesn't know where those tattoos are.
Thanks, everybody, for watching. This is Critical Reroll. Everything's a mistake.
But what I thought was interesting is just a moment ago, not between us, no, a moment ago in the show, like Sam or not was very specifically asking, is Thieves' Cant just verbal? And Matt was like, mostly, like, but there are sometimes like symbols people will draw on walls to say like this is a good mark, this is a bad mark. And for example, when checking, Not did find one that said honeypot, like saw a symbol that was basically honeypot, and they theorized that might be because they were under the rich area, so it might be the thieves telling the other thieves like this is where the rich people are, this is where the money's at, go get it.
Oh, I didn't put that together.
Yeah.
They marked the exits to the different areas, so they knew how best to get in and out of them.
They need to go back in the sewers then. Look at the other exits.
Yeah, see where else they can get into.
Okay, so let's look at this Ax Lobo. I hope I'm saying it right. Unless it's Axel Lobo. Mini gifts reminds me of when last campaign they went to Diastock to find the Myriad. That's where the idea is coming from. Right. The minds of the mini.
Ooh.
Right.
So is he saying I have mini gifts, like gifts for the mini?
Possible.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
We're gonna meet the Myriad again?
Yeah. But going back to what I was saying about Thieves' Cant.
Okay. Are you saying Not should try to read his tattoos?
No, not necessarily, but both Rowan and Kazimov have said the same sort of thing. That maybe the tattoos are a code, but since Molly doesn't necessarily know his history, is he just looking for a match, or is he looking to read something that means something? And Kazimov said, like, this is what I think. Like, I've always pictured Thieves' Cant. It can be sort of sign language combined with symbols and stuff like that. And just like, I'm just going to point out, we know a rogue who used ribbons for Thieves' Cant very successfully.
Mine's over there.
Yeah, so I just think I really like the idea that Thieves' Cant can be used in other ways, and I don't mind. Although I don't know that like it has to be Thieves' Cant in the tattoos, but definitely a message in the tattoos, and I definitely think we're gonna continue to be looking for these tattoos that mean something. There you go.
Nice.
You are Thieves' Canted.
I have been claimed. My other thought with the tattoos, though, was, is there some link to some demonic types? Possibly.
Oh.
Well, I mean, and he has to have some knowledge, like, of what some of these tattoos mean, or else, like, why would it have irritated him?
Like, because there's something about about Jorhas that keeps triggering in my mind, and I don't know what it is exactly, what Matt's building up to, but this whole idea, what he seems to be leading to is that this quote-unquote infestation of undead and these demon-like types with tieflings with their Jorhasian blood, things like that, are coming from that area. And it leads back to that. So I don't know, hey, is there a group of like demon-y people and devil worshippers and cults and stuff that have their own tattoo system? That is what he's looking for, and that's what's irritating him. Yeah.
And then we have, like you just mentioned, Jorhas, where, like, that's come up a little bit with him, too, where, like, there's that one person that was like, oh, I wouldn't want to upset someone like you, or something like that, because he's Jorhasian. So what if it's, maybe he's a sleeper agent for Jorhas, and he's looking for other super secret sleeper agents that have, the same, like, super secret symbol or something like that. But both Axel and Rowan were once again talking about that Ford was also looking at tattoos. He was also looking at the sailors and looking at finding names on the ship and looking for.
And yeah, that name is a mistake.
The Pink Giver.
Oh,
man.
Get your perv on.
Get your perv on. They were the Midnight Lorry, the Shell Carrier. I think that's what my handwriting said. The Pink Giver, and then the Broken Howl was mentioned too.
I like the slide. That looks like a shitty ship.
But I love that Matt rolled to see if he was going to give it to her or not. Because, like, it seems for the most part he's trying to keep the like we've said, he's trying to keep the campaign separate. But he rolled, and he had this look on his face, and he's like, "Yeah, you see it." Like
Molly is Widowmaker. Oh God. Oh, what if he's like Memento? You ever see that movie where the guy's like tattooing himself? Yeah.
Oh,
and that's leading him to, you know, the person who killed whoever. That movie was weird. But totally I could see being up Talison's alley.
Yes, absolutely. So from there we have them leave the sewer and they're dirty and stinky and they go to get their reward and
conversation where Lara was defending that Vex, while greedy, never lied about the loot.
Yeah. I don't know. I mean, I could go on record and say that I'm not a super fan of how Liam's been playing his character as of late, and that's all I'll say on that.
That's fair. But, you're right. But you're right, I skipped ahead slightly too much. I'm going to rewind ever so slightly, because before they went to get the reward, before they left the sewer, they have now claimed it.
They've claimed it.
Sewer number 9.
It's theirs.
Revolution
9.
Number 9.
9. But we had Molly gently pin Caleb to the wall to give him that lesson that you just sort of described. That, like, I don't mind if you skip a little bit, but, like, be smart about it. I love that, like, everyone knew what he was doing. Like, everyone's there. They're like they weren't in separate rooms. Like, do you know what I mean? Like, he was clearly searching the bodies.
Right.
Like,
I found nothing but this armor. Sure you did, bud.
What'd you find over there? Nothing? Jangle, 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 jangle.
But I do like this ongoing thing of Molly messing with Caleb ever so slightly. Molly giving him the little forehead kiss that one time. Molly pinning him against the wall. I just think it's, like, very, very...
Like he's not going to let any shit past him.
Right. But, as Rowan points out, Caleb gave his money to Jester that he found. But he gave Jester more gold than he found on the people. He gave her 100 gold. He only found 85.
Yeah. And I thought that was a really interesting, sweet moment, actually. Like, I thought it was interesting, like, that he was hiding it, and that's fine. I like that Molly called him out. But I do like the way he gave it to Jester, and he was like, I don't need this. Like, I don't care about money. You do. And she was like, well, I'm not going to just use it for myself. Like, because Jester... I think if she ever used the money inappropriately, it wouldn't be in a mean way. Right. It would just because Jester sees something funny and interesting, and she thinks it's worth that money. Mm-hmm. But for the most part, she would handle the money for the group responsibly.
Or is it just because Caleb is super weak and can't physically carry all that gold and his inventory space?
Yeah, that's true. That's very, very true. He is very, very weak, and she is actually very, very strong. Like, a lot of people are always like, "Oh, look at Ford, all, like, big and strong," but, like, no,
he's a noodle.
Jester.
But even Ashley and Laura, when they're like, "Oh, it has to be the two of you who carry the giant."
Are we the strongest? And she's like, "Yeah, take it."
That's why I love all the art. I mean, everyone art however you want. I'm not like saying like, but I love when I see chubby Jester art. I love Jester being a little bit bigger. I love her having like a little bit to her because she's strong and she's got stuff. She's got muscles going on, man. I love to
be chubby Jester.
Yeah,
I'm thinking about it.
Yeah, it's so sweet and I love it. Oh my gosh. But yeah, that was a good point, and I almost would have forgotten to point out that Caleb did give that money to Jester, because I was a little bit focused on what I think all the fan artists would have been rejoicing about, which was the pin.
Also, Rowan, you should ask those questions for talks.
Always.
One, if Molly knew Caleb gave the money to Jester before he pinned him, and then two, if Caleb was going to give Ford the armor before Molly said anything. I do agree with Uncle Ook that Caleb was always looking for leverage to get the glove back.
Oh, yeah.
that armor was like made for Travis too.
Yeah, it seriously was. The second he described it as being all like sort of almost oceany, nautically themed and everything like that.
I think everyone was automatically like, "Oh, Travis."
Do you guys want to skip to that part, or do you want to get to it? It's 2 points from now in my list. Well, I have when they go out. That's when they go and get the reward, and they meet Lawmaster Orentha.
Yeah,
which was something I was gonna.
Well, first they met Chloe, whose name they couldn't figure out for a while.
Yeah, like when you do that accent, all those other letters just disappear.
What?
The Mighty 7, 9. We lost 2 in the sewer.
That was the best part.
That was really, really good. Thank you for that. And they like for half a second, Matt played it as like the guy actually felt bad. He was like, "Oh, I'm really sorry," but then someone tried to add. It was that moment of too much. Where someone else tried to like made an additional comment, and then Matt was like, "Now roll."
Yeah.
It rolled bad, and it was like, "Oh, yeah, sure." Like,
right. But then they meet the Lawmaster, which is what you wanted to hit on.
Yes. Does anyone have? Well, basically, she was an older woman in her 60s. I thought it was interesting because they had this interaction. It was okay, not the best, not the worst. It was fine. And then the Lawmaster comes out and wants to meet them. The Lawmaster was like, "I want to meet these people that did this thing. This isn't a thing that everyone would do."
Yep. On your, he's got it too.
Someone else said it too.
Right, keep going.
Yes,
Keep going.
Okay, well, just and they just Matt describes her as these like robes of gold and white with these soft brown eyes, and they literally the whole group is like, "She's so nice. Why would anyone even rebel? Like when you have such a nice Lawmaster." And some of the people are like, "Well, no, it's not just about her." But the fact that they were so focused on like, she's so nice, she's so like, and the imagery is so like innocent and gentle and sweet. She's the gentleman. Like, come on. Like, I love this idea, and thank you. Ook said it before I could get to it. I love the idea that Lawmaster Orentha is the gentleman for all these reasons. They all liked her. She's this seemingly super nice Lawmaster. She's like up in power. She's this older woman. Like, I love the idea that's going to be near the top of my conspiracy theory lists right now, because I love the idea that like it's going to turn out to be this like sweet older, very powered woman.
I hope they get Helen Mirren to come on and play her.
That would be
because she does play D&D.
Oh shit!
She DMs for Vin Diesel taught her, and she DMs for her grandkids.
I heard about this. That's true. That's amazing. I love that. Okay, there you go. Critical Role, your next guest.
Helen Mirren, get her.
Yep.
As
have your people call her people, we'll call her people.
Yeah. As Lawmaster Orentha. And then, Matt, because we already know it, the gentleman.
Maybe it was Judi Dench. Maybe I'm wrong. I forget.
Oh, Judi Dench. Okay, that's right.
Either or. I'll take them.
¿Por qué no las dos? So M9 suddenly very gung-ho about being helpful with the Lawmaster, even though they were all fucked the Empire like 10 hours ago and talking to Claudia. The writing is just phenomenal this year. I didn't even catch that.
Yep, absolutely. So from there, the next thing I have is that they did, they sort of, before I get to, Molly and Not have a little talk where I think Not saying like, we could just do this, we can just do something else, and Molly sorry?
He said the campaign's over, we're done, 100 gold each, goodbye.
Yeah, we're done, that's it, we're good. But Molly starts talking about how he has goals. I've got goals, I'm working towards something.
Yeah.
That was an interesting, like, little bit of share, but then he was quick to, like, sort of stop and Not was like, wait, what are you working towards?
He always asked him to offer him a drink.
Yes!
There's gotta be something about that, too.
If you want a story from Molly, you gotta buy him a drink. You gotta wine him and dine him. Like, that's how...
It's a trade. It's totally an Irish thing. It's what he's playing off of with... I know he's, using the Irish accent and everything, but it's definitely, you want a story, you have to give me a drink. It's a trade. And that's what he's been doing. It's the games the whole time, too. With, I'll trade you this for that. I'll do this for that.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe he's a fairy. Maybe he's Fae. Maybe he's Fae. He had to be real.
Could he be waiting for like a certain drink?
Maybe.
Like that's a key, because he's always said it. He always says, "Buy me a drink and I'll tell you," and he's never told anybody anything. So maybe he's just like waiting for that person that like knows his code of like, you need to get this drink.
I do feel like he's waiting for something and he's looking for something, and there's definitely some conclusion he's looking to get to. But what is it? And what is it for? And is it something as sweet and innocent as he just wants to know more about his backstory? Maybe he wants to see like stuff about his family, or is he looking like, is he waiting to assassinate someone?
The blood hunter thing.
You bought me a Bloody Mary. Die.
You're the one. The fortune teller at the circus told me that this would happen, and I need to kill you.
Beware the man who offers you a Manhattan.
Yeah. But David in chat pointed out that remember that one Talks Maka at the end of last game where he joked about starting a farm after a couple months. Is Molly like literally when he says like I'm working towards something, I've got goals? Is he looking just to settle down? Is it something?
Playing Stardew. That's all he wants.
Stardew Valley. Nice.
He just wants to leave this adventuring life. He just wants to make enough to get by. Like, I don't know. And like, was he working towards this goal back when he was at the circus, or is this a new goal? Was he always like, did he just have this goal of doing a thing, and it's what he's been like working towards? Or
there's just so
many questions for Taliesin. So many.
Yeah, that's true.
And you never know if he's lying, because the whole thing of like his blades come from, or like that he has to pray over them, or that his family was captured and they used his blood for like sacrificial things.
I don't believe any of that.
But he could. So like, I mean, I do this with my friends too. If I've seen something or read something before them, and I'll give them fake spoilers, and I'll usually give them like 2 fake and a real one, and they never know.
Oh, I believe his blood could have been used for whatever, but they were freely offering it if they were in a cult.
So it was after that we have the Caleb Ford trade. So basically, we have Caleb take Ford aside, and he says, you know, like, I think this armor would be really good for you. I found this armor in the like sewer, and I think it would be really good for you. And I kind of want that glove. And
he kind of really wants that glove.
He kind of really wants that glove. It is interesting because he sort of had the chance to fight for it before, but he sort of didn't want it because he was still having that moment of like, fire is icky, bad things happen with fire, that whole jazz. And he actually Caleb talks about, like, I've made some mistakes. I've harmed some people. You know, I thought I was going to be something. And does this come back into, like, there's a lot of fan theories right now about his past. Like, does he have a dark past? Is that
he's a serial arsonist is all it is.
Who is it?
He killed his partner in crime, but he just can't get away from fire. That's it. That's all it is.
That's it?
Yeah, that's it. Case closed. Yep, we got it. Got it in the one.
Matt's a writer for the show, don't you?
Yeah, no, I accidentally get the emails, listen to Matt Mercer, but they just type Matt and it comes to me sometimes. It's not the best reveal, but you know.
Oh shit! Is that where all my messages to Mercer have been going?
I know all of your stuff.
Oh, damn it. But yeah, just like I've seen a lot of fan theories about him either being an ex-soldier, like him possibly having some soldier backgrounds, and maybe he like lost someone in the war, or he was supposed to protect someone, or he killed too many people with fire, because he has said, you know, that he like sort of has killed people with fire before, and that's why he keeps having sort of almost like little PTSD flashes, like little moments. But then some people are also saying could be related to his wizard, or his not wanting to go back to that school type situation. Do you guys have any opinions on that one?
He's so complicated. There's so many of these characters you just have no idea at this point. You just don't know.
And this thing, it just doesn't make sense. He lit someone alive on fire, and had this whole like out of body experience, and he saw all the old visions. But then in the sewers, he was fine, basically cremating all of the possible dead bodies with fire. And now he wants this thing that can help him do more fire. And I like where Rowan's going on, like, maybe seeing someone else wield it made him jealous. So,
or because like because Ford actually missed trying to use the
yeah.
glove.
Right.
So maybe Caleb was like, oh, well, I should wield it because I know I can do it. I can make it work, like, kind of thing. Like, I'm good with that sort of stuff. But like you said, I thought that was really interesting, too. Like, once again, that when they were in the sewer, the only two people that were like, hey, let's not burn the bodies in case someone's alive down here were Not and Molly. Because Caleb was all like, oh, but if we burn them, we'll get all their stuff. Like, that was literally his
like the whole
comment.
thing. Yeah, if we burn them, if they have anything magic or if there's any coin, it's not going to be...
Yeah, he's totally an arsonist. He was trying to stay away from
I told you!
You're right. You're right. He was trying to stay away from fire, like you try to stay away from drugs, you try to stay away from alcohol, but then he had a taste of the fire, and now he's all about the fire.
And like his
again.
whole reservation when he found out what the glove was, like, no, it's dangerous. It can hurt people. And now he's over here saying, you know, yeah, now he's like, I hurt people in the past, and I was trying to be something. Give me this glove that's dangerous.
Yeah.
It's like, what?
Yep.
Like, what?
King Sandu said Caleb is an imposter. He's wearing the clothes and identity of the man he killed.
Let's go back to that real quick, because you said we would. We're going back to the why won't he take off his clothes? Why won't he change clothes?
Yeah,
why won't he only put clothes over it, not change anything?
3 gnomes in a trench coat.
That's it.
That's actually why he gets along so well.
Have you been logging into my email?
With Not, he's 3 goblins. So when he's defending Not, he's actually defending all the goblins inside his cloak.
All the goblins.
To the rest of Not's family.
I don't know. It is.
But like,
it is kind of weird. I still don't understand the whole like smearing his face with mud and like keeping it in his pockets.
I think that was just to piss Jester off, honestly. I think that's just a little childish reaction of like, you know what, you're all telling me to be clean, you're all telling me to be clean, I'm just gonna do this every time. That doesn't really explain
to me at least why he like the first thing he did when it was raining was grab 2 big scoops of mud and put them in his pocket.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I'm sure scrubbing it against his face was to get like just a rise out of Jester, but like, why did he feel the need to have mud on him?
Well, and once again, back to the cloak, and I've seen a lot of people say this sort of thing that like, and like I said, even King Sundu said something along those lines where he's wearing this cloak of someone he killed, perhaps. Whether like King Sundu said because he's being an imposter and taking their place, but what if it was someone he cared about he accidentally killed with fire, and that's why he's sort of afraid of fire and he has that deal with fire. Maybe if he killed a friend or like a fellow wizard or soldier, someone in training. Sorry.
Family member,
exactly, something like that, and that's sort of like what he's dealing with. What if he's dirtying himself because he doesn't feel like he can be clean? Like, what if he's dirtying himself because he feels like he did something bad and he's ashamed and he has to stay dirty? Like, he's like, I did this, I did this horrible thing and I am smeared for life. And so he literally smears shit on his face.
I do like this comment. I've said it before, I'll say it again. I think once we figure out why he's a transmutation wizard, it'll all fall into place.
Yes.
He's only used his transmutation skills, I think, the one time when Not almost melted the wooden floor with acid.
Did he use it on the money pot thing or no? Or was that...
he does it with the trick, the money pot trick. Mm-hmm. But like, that's all he's used it for. I forget. Yeah. I'm gonna look at it real quick. What else?
Well, okay, Rowan and I have spoken about this before. There's a level at which the transmutation wizard gets a philosopher's stone. But then when we analyzed it, we couldn't come up with a reason why to specifically go down that path for that stone. Because before you can even get that transmutation stone as a wizard, you can learn, remove all curses and poisons or something like that. So anything that you would use the transmutation stone for, like anything that would be interesting to his backstory, where like maybe he's doing this because someone he knows is poisoned, or maybe he's poisoned, or maybe he's cursed, but he could in theory lift it before that level. So
there's also Master Transmuter at level 14, as I think we were looking at. But there's also there's Panacea. You remove all curses, diseases, and poisons affecting a creature. There's also Restore Life. You can cast Raise Dead on a creature you touch with the Transmuter Stone without expending a spell slot or needing it in your spellbook.
Whoever the cloak belongs to.
That, and then there's also Restore Youth.
Maybe he's secretly 100 years old.
Major Transformation. You can transmute one non-magical item into another non-magical item that doesn't really do anything.
No.
Hmm.
Ray's dead is a real small window of time. I think it's a week. So it's too late if it's like anything that anyone's already dead.
You can also gain resistance to an item. So maybe he's trying to get resistance to fire damage and make something that's impervious to flame so he can go buck wild with fire magic. So everyone not be affected by it. You're welcome, case closed.
Maybe he just wants to be Harry Dresden, and that's why he's wearing the cloak.
Yeah.
Wearing the coat.
Maybe he thinks at a higher level of transmutation that he can do more than he actually can. Maybe he's hoping to bring back someone who is dead longer or save someone who he can't actually save. Or, like, because very early on, we were discussing it as, like, because one of the favorite topics was Caleb is a werewolf, which, like, we have no actual proof for. But it was, like, once again, it was that stone could, in theory, remove that sort of curse. But so could other things. Like, honestly, it's not very...
Well, but other things can, but none that he has access to.
Yeah, I don't know. Is everyone any more Caleb points? Wrap up the Caleb points.
Yeah, I got nothing.
Okay, so the other
Bro moments. That's all I got.
Yeah,
Bromance.
the other half of that transaction.
The more important thing.
The other half of that transaction
was,
in fact, Ford. And Ford, upon receiving that armor, so as I said, Caleb was like, I think this is for you. It seems very appropriate. And it had all those watery,
so that's the thing. So that's why it was important to let you move freely through water. You can breathe underwater. I think that's basically it.
Yep. And Ford's comment was, I wish I'd had that before.
Bum, bum, bum.
Before what? Before what? I think if anything, before he drowned. I think this confirms one of the big fan theories for Ford, which is that, like, his patron, how he got his power was they saved him from drowning. He died. Like, that, that's 100% my thought. Like, even not necessarily died either. He died or was dying.
What is dead may never die.
Before he fucking died.
Drowned God. Yeah, so definitely, like, that's the imagery we see with him. That's what him spitting up salt water, guys. Like, come on, he
because that's how they met. That is how he met his patron. He was smoking on salt water.
And his patron came to him and saved him, and that's why it would have been great if he had had this freaking armor before that.
Yep.
Yep.
Before he got shipwrecked, nearly drowned, cut a deal with Davy Jones.
Essentially, yeah.
He's almost mostly dead.
He's
only mostly dead.
There's a big difference between all dead and mostly dead. All dead, all you can do is go through their wallet.
That is also going to be my favorite thing when all of these fan theories are just wrong.
Oh, God, yeah. It's the best part.
No, he never learned how to swim, and so he wants to be able to swim better.
Yeah, it's literally just that he lived at a port, and he never learned to swim, and he was just very ashamed of that fact. His patron came to him in an completely different way. It's completely unrelated. So
they all get baths after that.
Yeah, but they don't go into great detail about it, which is great. Why did not want that letter from Ford? Why did not try and steal that letter?
To get Caleb into the school.
You think so? Because she thinks he needs to go there?
Well, because they had talked about it before.
Didn't he not want to go, though? Didn't Caleb not want to go to the school?
No, I think it was because they were talking about the school, and I was like, "Oh, Caleb, weren't you gonna go there?" And he's like, "Oh, I don't have the skills for that." Now he would have a lot of recommendations, so it doesn't matter.
Oh, I didn't even think of that. That's so sweet. But I love Ford running in his towel.
Shoot!
As
my dog.
I love
my
more
dog
how
just
Molly,
looked at me like, what?
I love more how Molly swindled him over.
Oh my God, that was hysterical. Yes. Back to the games. Molly loves his games.
Mm-hmm.
Loves making.
What are you looking for? What are you looking for? This?
Yeah.
Give me something. He's like, I got gold. I don't want gold. Give me something else.
Money wasn't the thing that Molly has been after for the longest time. It's all right. Give me a drink for a story. Okay, give me something. Give me something that is not money.
I bet he would have given it for like a secret. Like, tell me a secret.
Yeah,
about
I feel like that's what he wants. I feel like absolutely. Molly would totally trade things for stories and secrets. I think that's Molly's thing.
other interesting part.
What?
So when they were talking, and Ford is like, instead of a straight up trade, I'll trade you for a story. Like, tell me why you don't like money or whatever, or don't like fire. And Caleb makes the remark of like, I don't trust you. I don't trust all these people. Well, I guess I kind of trust. No, I don't trust any of them. Was he referring to Not?
Or was he referring to Jester?
I feel like he was slightly referring to Not. Like, he doesn't fully trust her. Like, he'll protect her, but like maybe Not doesn't know everything about Caleb either.
I was wondering that, but I couldn't accept that, honestly. Like, when he said that, I thought the same thing. I was like, is he talking about Not? But I cannot accept that the one person that kind of big meanie is nice to sometimes, which is Not, like, I can't imagine he doesn't trust her. That just breaks my heart. Like, that's
Trust
horrible.
is different than being nice, though.
That's
true.
True.
Nice is different than good.
Yes.
And it might not even be...
And I know things now.
You guys.
I almost had an Into the Woods thing in here when they were like talking about, do you talk to your God? I was like, do you talk to you can talk to birds?
Now you made me forget what I was gonna say because I'm laughing.
Trusting Not.
Yes, thank you. And it might not even be like I don't trust her as in like just that like Not sometimes reveals things she doesn't mean to, like just that she accidentally like overspeaks sometimes and stuff like that. Maybe it's more
and
just that
has that itchy finger to steal stuff and doesn't have the greatest impulse control.
Yeah, and I don't think they've known each other too long. They've just kind of bonded real quick because they've had to.
I would be curious to see exactly how long they've known each other.
I still don't think it was Not though, because like they're always like anything Caleb does with Not. Like even in the first few episodes where we were dealing with him being like, I don't trust these people, let's leave this party. It was us as a unit. Like they are together. They are a little baby family, little like unit, like a little broken home.
I mean, and I get that, but it's like this is one of the only times that he wasn't around Not talking.
Yeah, it's true. It's true, but personally, I guess
Back to Not. I love Not's observation that the only reason that Ford isn't grumpy is because he's next to Bo.
Oh yes!
And so we just don't know. We just don't tell.
It just doesn't.
Is just having a grumpy wingman makes you look always happy.
Yeah.
Oh man, and they had some good interactions this one. We kept trying to like.
See, like it wasn't. Yeah, he said that they met a few days before they all met. I think.
Yeah, it wasn't super long before.
Because they were in prison together, supposedly. Yeah, I think he was talking about Not.
Possibly.
That's where I'm throwing my hat.
It's possible, but that makes me sad, and I hope
the obvious one is Jester because they're kind of becoming more friends.
Yeah, because he's kind of like they've spent a lot of time just the two of them. They've talked a little bit more. He's given her that money he found and more than what he found. He started to almost like talk to her and then stopped.
And that's like the whole thing with the group, it kind of seems that Sam is playing Not as though she's kind of growing a little bit away from Caleb. Like she's met a full family that she can be a goblin with and they don't care more than just Not or more than just Caleb who's been supportive. All of these people are supportive.
It's a good point.
Like, how much longer is Not gonna need a Caleb?
That's true, but I think that
that's a little sad.
Yeah, I think
it is very sad. But like, I mean, I feel like Sam would do that.
Yeah. Oh, totally.
Yep.
What's next? Orgy cult.
The evening nip.
No, the orgy cult was between that.
Oh yeah, that's right. Ulag and the Knights of Requital.
Do we think he's a spy in the group? I saw that theory floating around.
Like he's trying to
he's setting them
these
up
people
for
know
shit.
too much and
that he kind of infiltrated them and is trying to get them all arrested.
Rowan is unhappy with you, Matt. He is mad at you for saying that.
No, but for the Knights of Requital, personally, they're either true and they're trying to recruit them as muscle, or they are spies and they're trying to set them up for a fall. Because the whole thing when Bo is like, are you sure this is the right time? Or like, what makes you think this is the right time to be doing this? He makes their remark is, there's a shift coming and we want to ride that wave.
Yeah.
So, like, is somebody about to be assassinated and someone new is going to come into power? Is like, what is this big wave that's going to happen, and how much of this shit is going to hit the fan, going to land on the Mighty Nine?
They're going to storm the Bastille.
Mm-hmm.
It is Bastille Day.
Also, pour one out for poor Frumpkin.
Pour one out for Frumpkin.
Laura
Disintegrated. Yeah, that was
realized
fun.
that Frumpkin was gone. Was just like, what?
It didn't dawn on anybody that this whole time the cat wasn't there.
Yeah, who kicks a cat? The same sort of person that pulls wings off of a fly. Wait, what? That's you don't do that? They had that whole conversation about fireflies and stuff.
Okay, so the fireflies thing is real. I will 100% vouch for that. It's definitely a thing. It's not a nice thing, but it's definitely a thing. As a little kid running around, we definitely caught fireflies or lightning bugs, as we call them in my area. And you made little jewelry out of their lighters. So you had little, like, blinky jewelry.
That's terrible.
It is terrible.
That's sad, yeah.
Let's see. Should have kept the guard armor they found and sold it to the rebels.
Yep.
Despicable.
Oh, God, yeah.
I like it.
I will
Absolutely.
Or worn it themselves.
I want them to help, like, I mean, I think that Matt's gonna play both sides. I think he's definitely gonna play, like right now it's definitely gearing up where, you know, the people in power are terrible, which is easy to, like, play out.
Except the lawmaker.
Except the lawmaker.
And I think that he's really trying to make it so it's not an easy choice.
Yes,
that is
that's
really
how he's gonna play too. And I think we're gonna get some bad rebels. But up until now, all the rebel stories have been very sympathetic. Like all the stories like about the guy that lost his wife for no reason. It's been very sympathetic. And I think we're gonna build up some closeness to the rebels, perhaps, and then see some like bad rebels and some good people in power.
Yep.
And see that a little bit and like give them an actual difficult choice to make, but currently I do like them siding with the rebels, and I want like overthrow the power, forget the oligarchy,
fuck the patriarchy.
Yeah, fuck the patriarchy, all that jazz. But I think they were like you're talking about how like they're spies, it's gonna get turned around on them, but they were suspicious. They were saying like, oh, why should we trust these people? Like, okay, well, just the two of us, since we're the two that have already sort of stuck our heads out.
So they're playing it smart, at least.
They are. I think they're actually playing it pretty smart too. I agree with that, and I do want to see where this like rebellion goes, and I do want something to happen at that festival that's coming up.
Yes.
Dun 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 dun.
Not a regular. I don't have a cool thing to do with that.
Sorry.
Just sit here.
I mean, I would argue that that's extremely not a cool thing. But yeah. Now can we go to the evening nip, guys?
Yes, we can go to the evening nip.
So they go to the evening nip just to check it out.
They can't go to the cool fancy hotel.
Yeah.
Can't have the room party.
Yeah, and they don't even actually use their secret code yet, right? They're just scoping right now.
Checking it out, seeing the lay of the land.
We have them meet Clive Benz. And I thought it was interesting that he was staring down Ford, like staring him down.
Because he was pretty.
But that was what was interesting. They were like, "We don't see many of your type," but they're like, "What type? Orcish, green?" And he was like, "Pretty." What was that? Was that really was that an actual flirt? Was that a cover?
Absolutely.
Does he see past something about Ford?
He's got true sight and can see through his super good illusion.
Yeah. Does he actually have, like, I don't know, glasses on or a fake eye that, like, Mad Eye movie style?
What the other half is.
Yeah. Or there's something where he's picking up on a clue that they're not picking up on.
Yep.
Yeah. I thought that was really interesting.
The bar itself, there were only 2 other people in there, I think they said. And I like their comment about, we totally just walked into the mob bar.
Yeah, they 100%
did. If you have ever done that before, it's terrifying.
Yeah.
This is like that bar in every like beginner campaign thing. Like, don't go there because basically the DM has a rule like if they go to this bar, initiate combat. Like that's what this is. It's a sleeping giant ant from Pandelver. Spoilers.
Oh gosh.
No, they walk.
Yeah, no, but they see the same
Same tattoo.
Myriad, not myriad tattoo.
Myriad, not myriad.
And then they leave. Like, okay,
That's
bye.
This sucks. Let's leave.
Get out of
Jester
here.
doesn't even want to finish her drink.
So Bo
Yeah, Bo enjoyed it there though. Bo was like, "This is my jam."
Yasha loved it.
Oh, that's what it was. Sorry, Yasha. Yasha loved it. Thank you. Wrong person. My bad. That's the end of my notes. Do you guys have anything else? Do you guys have anything? Chat. You guys got anything? Any last minute?
My last note was
Hail
the guy
Marys.
at the place with the tattoos. So we covered that.
Yeah. That was pretty much it for me too. Was the tattoos. I liked how many times tattoos came up in this episode. It came up a lot, and I really do think, I really do like the idea of there being like codes and secrets in the
They're
tattoos.
trying to lure Ashley to stay longer. By
Look,
bringing
we
the
can
blind
have it
spot to
here
her.
too.
Yeah, we can do it too. Smut
Nice. Yes.
I'm still on my theory. So since I didn't say last time, spoiler, if you're reading Saga and you're not through this part yet, close your ears. I'm still on, like, the smut books are fueling this revolution somehow. There's some theme, because in Saga, like, there's this writer of like a romantic novel, and everybody who's reading it is like, what's the word? They like see themselves in it.
Yeah.
They're like inspired by it because it's about like two warring nations coming together.
It's propaganda, but it's like
Right.
it's this like extreme.
Porn is the key to freedom. Thank you.
Yeah,
I've been saying this for years.
Yes. What was it? In the book, it's something like, what is the opposite of like war? What's the opposite of war? And everyone's like, love. And he's like, no, it's sex. It's the opposite of like war and hate is sex. And that's like, yeah, like that's the key to like sharing information. That's the key to sharing experiences and freedom and everyone being connected. And like, it's in the smut, guys. It's,
I like it.
But as far as Caleb, I don't know why he wants it.
Or he's just really lonely.
He actually just.
What if Caleb and Molly do?
Oh.
We're going to fuel the revolution with this smut cipher, and Molly is a sleeper agent from Jorhas. I like both of these. Oh my god, the reveal. There's gonna be a reveal where they both like.
They'll be like Mr. and Mrs. Smith.
I was gonna say that.
All of a sudden.
They're gonna have the big, like, the Office finger gun
battle.
Yeah, they're gonna have like the
spell snipes.
Shootout. Yeah.
Spell snipes.
Yeah.
Yep. There's gonna be like Hexblade, Fire Glove.
I make your eyes bleed.
Yeah.
And everyone else is just sitting in the tavern like, what the fuck? As it just gets wrecked around them.
I imagine that the smut shop has Doty's flashcard images of Vox Machina.
Oh, I like it.
See, okay, so I've seen a lot of people kind of referencing, like, what if these people are inspired by the stories of Vox Machina that they've read? Would 20 years and these people still being alive warrant them having, like, so much lore about them, you think?
I think there would. But
they saved the world.
They saved that half of the world. Nothing really happened on
this
Wild
continent. I think on the other continent, they're freaking like legends of all time. But I think on this continent, particularly with all the oppression and how strongly stuff is controlled, I think they have no idea who Vox Machina is. Unless some of the theories that one or more of the characters might actually originally be from the other continent.
Maybe the smut books are about Vox Machina. And that's how they're...
Yeah, do we have a title for them? What are they called?
There were a couple of them, but I don't think they mentioned a lot.
Like, when did the smuts?
They're literally fan fiction that is fueling the revolution.
In the bar when they were first looking for Clowry information about Clowry and stuff like that. They went to the bar, and that's when he started getting like names off books, and he like made up some names, and people were like, "Were those real things?" Or did he just like jokingly say that? You know what I mean? Like, and the guy even was like, "I'm going to write those down." It's like he's like, "Oh, it's from his earlier works before he was even had that pen name or something like that." That came up all the way back then. Mm-hmm. So very early on.
Totally Vox Machina fanfiction smut that is peddling the revolution.
Oh, that's interesting. If there are Vox Machina stories, what if VM stories are banned on this side of the pond?
Yes. See, that's what I mean. Like, I feel like with all the control and oppression and stuff like that, that's
very possible.
Because you want to control what people like believe in and like what they like. You know what I mean? Like, I absolutely think that an oppressive power would control stories like that. Like, you don't want people having like normal folks like themselves to believe in. You know what I mean? They don't want to know that regular people can rise up and like save the world.
I see what you did. Yeah, I don't know. It's gonna be interesting.
Yeah.
I'm both interested and like kind of dreading a Vox Machina tie-in because like I don't know, I want it to be new.
Yeah.
You know?
No, I like the idea that there's almost no tie-ins to the other world.
I do like that more
except
and more.
Artigan.
Except Artigan. That's the exception.
The only accepted connection.
Because he's got that gate and he can pass through the exception walls.
Yeah, and he would
because Archfey.
Well, and he would want to come to this continent because it's an interesting continent. Like, that other continent's boring. Like, come on, forget it. Like, this one's way more exciting.
And also much more opportunity to mess shit up with all the sensors. Like, okay, cool. Here's this dark and drab place. Let's just go and mess with people and
have fun with it. Is this gonna? Do you guys what do you guys think is the percentage chance of this becoming like a dark campaign or like an evil campaign?
100% it's becoming dark.
But, I mean, like an evil campaign. Like the heroes.
Them being evil.
Yeah.
Ooh.
I don't know about them all being.
I don't know about that.
I mean, but they don't have like not the closest thing to a moral compass they really have. Molly somewhat, but not really it, and she's a goblin.
Molly and not, I agree, are two of the only like, because the other ones
like if they get it in, if they get in good with like a bad organization, like they could just run with it.
Yeah, I'm still convinced Ford is going to, as he connects with his patron more, he's going to become evil. I could totally see, and I could see elements of the group becoming evil. And like
I could see Jester not going evil, but her wanting friends so much that she's willing to just go along with it.
Yeah. Yes, I could see them
until it becomes like
sticking together. Absolutely, for that sort of stuff. So.
Yeah. Who knows? Who knows?
Yeah.
Could be interesting, definitely. But I keep calling Jorhas, especially like the Exandria Barovia, and that this is. That he might be taking some cues from that type of idea.
Yeah. Apparently Laura did say in a panel that she would have a hard time being evil. So that's what I mean when I say I don't think any of them would. And that came from FMA Canada guy. So thank you. I could see that, like, them not wanting to be like extremely outwardly evil, but I could see them going along with some, like, not so good stuff. I just think it's more, I think they're going to be a lot more chaotic neutral more than anything. I could see it being a very chaotic neutral sort of campaign, not a straight up evil. Although, once again, I could see one or two of them turning evil, and I'm curious how the rest of them would deal with it. Like, that is what I'm interested in.
Yup.
Is that wrapping it up?
I was going to say, are we good?
That's it.
Anything else for anyone?
Yeah, I got nothing.
No.
I mean, we had a few more things in chat.
The one random way back in the beginning. I like and both was confused by the fact that Liam did his ad and introduced himself as Vaxeldon Visar and used that last name.
Oh yeah.
He's coming to terms with it.
Yeah, he's already. He's like, I'm good now. What the heck?
Wop wop.
Why does my Skype keep pooping itself?
The ribbon dancer Nutcracker was awesome.
Oh god.
Beginning.
Forgot about
Oh yes, I never watched that again.
About that.
Watch that.
When something traumatic happens, sometimes you push the memories back.
It was art.
Yeah.
We're like belongs in the trash.
Music. The art music was very nice.
Music changed. Yeah, that was
the Welcome to Wildmount by Colm McGuinness.
Oh, yeah, it was the fan song,
fan-made.
Right?
Yeah.
It reminded me of like Lord of the Rings with the like riding through the fields of Rohan type of stuff.
It's good music.
D&D Beyond. We're not sponsored. Please don't say that. I mean, I'm joking. If we wanted to be, if they
if they wanted to.
Sponsor them, go ahead.
I'll just continue to shout it.
I don't know how that whole thing works.
But I think a few people were saying, or sorry, Rowan said, I just want to know why there's no alignment reveals. Like previously, we've known the alignments; it's been shared with us. So why are there no alignment reveals if it's not because someone somewhere in the group is evil? Like, did
Matt say also that he doesn't really rely?
I was gonna
heavy
say,
on that.
Is that what it was?
Yeah,
he doesn't want to rely.
There's a lot of contingent in D&D about alignments because, there's sometimes there are. Yeah. It puts a restriction on how you play.
Yeah, it did cause a bit of problems last time when it was like, oh no, your alignment shifted, but it was really not that important. Do you know what I mean?
She didn't play any different.
Yeah.
The only thing that it really matters, but there are things like Rakshasa when they're attacked by someone who's good natured or whatever.
Yeah, and I know there were a couple high powered weapons where it's only a lawful good person can use this.
Yeah. Other than that, it doesn't really matter.
Yeah, and right now they're pretty fluid on what their alignment is.
Yeah,
yeah.
I'm still sticking with most of them being neutral, chaotic neutral, in that sort of range. Even if some of them might have been chaotic good.
Well, even then, they could be chaotic evil or chaotic good, but their vision of good is not great.
Exactly. It could be just a different version, a different vision. That's pretty much it.
Yeah, they do have upcoming con stuff.
Yep.
They're all WonderCon. E2 and Chachajo.
I did actually look to see how long the drive was to Chicago, and I was like, I would totally be willing to do that drive from back home in Toronto. But A, I'm not in Toronto, and B, it's too soon. I'm still gonna be in school. I was like, poop! I would have gone to Chicago. But yeah, nope.
Let's come back to Philly. Wait and see if they announce PAX in the fall.
I could totally make it to Philly. I would do that drive.
You should. Just don't drive through the airport that Matt did.
Listen. Thank you guys for listening.
That's it. Apparently, we gotta go. Matt's done. Matt's just done now.
I brought up a bad subject.
I'm gonna go cry now.
Sorry, guys.
Sleep in the national. It was a mess.
So that's it then. I'm gonna go ahead and call it here. Thank you guys so much. Thanks everyone who came out. Thanks for all the awesome suggestions and comments and conspiracy stuff. That is the best. That is our bread and butter. Please always share. Please always tweet at us at criticalreroll.com. All the jazz that I'm supposed to parrot and say. Subscribe.
Smash that like button.
Vote that thing. Stars.
Leave us a review
stars.
if you want to, because
it's
apparently a thing that people ask for.
Those things. I never remember to say those things.
Tell a friend.
Yeah. Word of mouth. Thanks so much, Cate, for coming on. Where can people find you?
You can find me at CMonster, CEE Monster on Twitter. That's about it. Not many other places.
And I'm Matt.
And I'm Jess. We're not as important. It's okay. Don't worry about us.
Just for me. Every single one of them.
Yeah. 200%. So yeah, thanks and have a good night and bye.
Bye.